Am I the asshole for repeatedly offering my friend in Ramadan food and water?
Yeah.
Already,
Is that person a non-Muslim?
it sounds like it. Sounds like it.
Let's hear.
Says, this happened a couple of years ago, but I still wonder about it to this day. Me and 3 other friends were doing an internship abroad for 1 month in the 12th grade. Me and my friend N did an internship at the same place, meaning we worked together every day for a month. The internship happened to be almost entirely during the month of Ramadan, meaning N was not able to eat or drink all day long. The problem was that our internship required us to be on our feet all day, walking almost nonstop and only having a few breaks. In case of emergency, her imam told her to have an apple and some water with her at all times, which she did. Little bit of context. Ann and I always got along really well, but we were never close. We were school friends, basically. We were also very different people personality-wise, but got along really great. And got along great during this internship too, until this happened. Most days, N was fine and just got through work completely normally. But some days you could see her get physically exhausted and she would snap at me for smaller things. But again, nothing major. Except one day, she was exhausted after half of our workday. I asked her to take a longer break and said I would handle some areas of her tasks, but she refused and became irritated. 2 hours before our shift ended, she started to get paler and paler, with really dark circles forming under her eyes. That's when I started asking her to have a sip of water or to eat or take a bite of an apple. I kept asking her every 20 minutes or so. She would always decline, obviously. On our way home, a 30-minute walk, she started to seem very out of it. She was slower than usual, kept getting paler. Honestly, I was full on prepared to faint at any moment. I asked again if she wanted some water or a candy bar that I had in my bag. That was probably where she had enough because she got really mad at me for asking her repeatedly. She told me to stop asking and that she was fine and it was rude of me. I said, you don't look fine and you are obviously not feeling well. And then said, I just don't respect her religion and to stay out of it because it wasn't my business. I do realize that I was probably annoying her, asking her so many times, but she never really seemed the same towards me after. I do not mean to disrespect her religion, but that doesn't mean I wasn't an asshole. So, am I the asshole?
That's a tough one.
How? How is it tough at all?
No, go ahead.
She is not the asshole.
I want to hear your opinion.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you can start.
Nah, I would love
You said
to.
it's tough. I want to know what's tough.
Why is it
No,
tough?
but me, just in general, this is past Ramadan or anything. I like offering people around me, hey, did you eat food? Are you good? Hey,
No,
I made huh?
No, they're fasting.
I said outside of Ramadan.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry.
If you're gonna joke,
I didn't catch that part. Sorry.
Listen to the whole
Sorry.
point.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, but I like offering people around me, and I feel like honored or nice when people offer me. Like, hey, you ate? Hey, you good? Hey, I'm about to order something. You want anything? It's a nice bonding thing to me. And right now, we all work and go. We go to work during Ramadan while we're fasting. And people right now, like the other day, I told her we had some issues at work, and the management bought donuts and coffee and things like that for the teams. A few different people came to me and said, hey, they have coffee and donuts over there. You want anything? I tell a few different people, hey, nah, I'm good and fasting. It's not up to them to remember our calendar. And it's them, they're doing it out of kindness of their hearts. So that's the on one part I understand. And if you see someone struggling the whole day and you're friends with them, you want to show your sympathies and you want to try to support them. I get that on one hand. On the other hand, if you're hungry, dehydrated, your mind's not in the right place for you to handle people properly. So if she's struggling and going through all this in her head, I understand how she can lash out at people. It's not neither their normal-minded intentions to offend the other person. Because it seems like she took it beyond that day and didn't rethink it when she ate and when she calmed down and slept that night. So I think that's the only point I have on why are you taking this so far with the person trying to support you. Okay. And why can't you reflect on your day and see that they're trying to be kind to you instead of making mockery about your religion, which they're not trying to do.
Yeah.
That's the only I'd see it on both ends.
Mm.
If I had to choose an asshole, we can come back on this. But what do you guys think?
Go next.
I agree with what you're saying. I think here, okay, I think the trigger words in this scenario was the fact that this person was asking them repeatedly over and over again. I think they said every 20 minutes or so they were asking this girl.
I
And,
missed that part.
you know, so it's like the constant asking of it is probably what irritated this person more and more, because like a normal person would have a grip on their body, right? Or understanding of if they're going to, you know, have a medical issue or, you know, a health scare or something like that. A normal person would tell you, yo, I need a doctor, or I need an ambulance or something right now. I'm going to faint, you know, like, but if this person's telling you over and over again to your questions, no, I'm good, I'm fine, I can make it, I'll be fine, then respect them, you know, respect them to say that, you know. I think what happened here is what you're saying, you know, like all the added factors of, you know, being hungry from fasting, you know, being tired from working, make you irritable, you know. Sometimes you get to a point where you're irritable. And this person even getting physically, you know, affected from the lack of food and water, right? So their mind is not in the right place, like you're saying, right? However, that being said, I feel like what's taken out of context here is the person's intentions, you know, like the person's intention is to look out for their friend. You know, I want to help you out, make sure that you're not in a position where you're not going to faint or something like that. Although this person is telling them, no, I'm fine, no, I'm fine, no, I'm fine. I think what their brain took them to is this person doesn't respect Islam, you know, and that was the word, or that was the point of the conversation where I don't think they were able to mend fences anymore. This story is from 3 years ago, they said, right? And I don't think they're even friends anymore because of that scenario.
They weren't friends in the first place.
Well, they were like acquaintances, you know, like they weren't really necessarily close, but they were friendly, right? And I feel like what ended their friendship was that person thinking that they don't respect their religion, but it's more so that they just didn't have a clear understanding of their, you know, health at that time, you know? And they were kind of being annoying about it. That's the one trigger that I don't agree with. If there was an asshole, I would say this person is probably the asshole.
The person asking?
Yeah.
Interesting. I disagree with you. If fasting, we know what fasting is. It's the idea of stopping yourself from eating, stopping yourself from viewing things, watching your language, making sure that every facet of you is stopped in a certain aspect in order to, you know, give to God, like, you know. So if you visibly are looking like you are like you're having a difficult time and the people around you are concerned for you, I think that is a problem, because like to that point, at the very beginning of the story, didn't they say that she was taking around water and apples just in case? That sounded like precautions against something that happened in the past. No normal person just holds water and apples with you, you know, when you're fasting. Then
again, they do have a physical job, right?
That's true. But to that point, if you know that A, fasting isn't the easiest for you, 2, probably something happened in the past. I can't say per se, but if somebody's telling you to do it, you know, this is probably something it's not easy for you to do at this time. So if somebody is telling you, hey, you don't look the best, you clearly have, like, you're wearing your day on your face, you know what I mean? I can see visibly. Maybe you should break your fast. You know, I don't see that as disrespect. They're looking out for me, you know? And if somebody, it's all about intentions at the end of the day. If somebody's looking out for me and seeing it, like, how can I support them? I'm not going to take no disrespect. You're not 20 times. It looked like he could faint, fam.
But 20
if I fainted at that point, I am a liability to the business. I'm at work. I'm not chilling.
No, but they're going home now.
Yeah, but even then, even worse. Now that she's not at work, she's walking, and if she was to fall right here, it falls on the girl's responsibility.
How many times are you gonna ask her though? That's the thing, you know.
Imagine how bad it was for me to ask you 20 times. Do you ever thought about that perspective?
At what point do you not say, I gotta respect this person's wishes and stop asking them?
That's fair,
right?
You know, you're totally right, but you have to see it from the flip side. If I need to ask you that many times, brother, at what point do you look like you're dying on me? Like
when I actually faint, yeah.
Like, but at that point, I have to call that, like, you're putting yourself in a situation that's not even the best for me at the moment, because now I have to be looking over you to see.
But you got to trust the fact that I believe that's not going to happen.
Fam, clearly it looks like it's going to happen.
But that's just how it's presented to you. That's just how you're not feeling it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like it's like I don't know. It is a tough situation, like you said.
I find it hard to call somebody an asshole when their best intention was for me.
Right.
Like, you're doing this for me. Yes, was it a little annoying? Did I not want you to ask as many times as you did? Sure. But did you do it for me? Yeah, you did. And I don't see you as such. Like, yeah, you're annoying in a way in which...
And not to mention too, like, this is a non-Muslim who's writing the story, I'm assuming, right?
Sure.
So they could be exaggerating how the person was presenting themselves. Paler and paler. I don't even know what that means.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie to you.
You don't get paler sometimes, you don't eat?
Some people's skin gets...
I get that, but like, it does sound like it could be an exaggeration to save face.
Okay, but we gotta take the story at face value.
Viewpoint.
You're right.
It could be what they see, not what the person feels, but what they see on their view.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like this was just misinterpreted, Like, the person is misinterpreting this other person's struggle.
Have you guys ever seen somebody who was fasting that didn't look like they could make it?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like especially
I've been in the same
workplace.
scenario where I have to ask somebody, yo, are you okay? Do you need to break your fast?
And how?
No.
What they
I'm
say
fine
no?
with that.
Was it a guy or girl? Not that it matters.
It was a guy.
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
I gotta respect them as
So
wishes.
why'd you bring it up?
I just feel like when it comes to, I have to be like, I have to make sure. If it's a guy, he could toughen it out. You know what I mean?
She can toughen it out too.
No, you're right. You're right. But my whole point being like it is annoying. But brother, if your best intention was for me to be supported, I can't. He even got to the point where it's like, I have something I can share with you. I have something in my pack. Do you want that? Maybe that's better for you.
I get that. All that's great, but it's the amount of times that I don't agree with, fam. Like, if somebody tells you, no, I'm okay, leave it, Don't keep pressuring it. That's when they get to a point where they're like, all right, what the hell's wrong with this person? Can they not understand English? Yeah. I can see that frustration building. And then the fact that they're fasting too, they've been walking all day, it's a cumulative thing. And then they got to a point where they even thought, this person doesn't even respect Islam, So it's like, you brought this on all of us, You could have just respected my wishes. We would have been fine. That's how I look at the story.
Okay. But if you're irritable and you're producing half the level of work that you should, I don't know if fasting is the best solution for you in that.
But that's my problem. That's my problem.
But then it falls on me. Like, now I have to pick up the slack that you don't do.
That's Adi. They're going to hire somebody else when I'm fired. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying, bro. It's like I want you to do good, but if I'm doing 1.5% of the work and you're doing 0.5, it's not working out for me.
Then that's my issue to deal with, though.
That's why she provided you with alternatives. Like, bro, I know you can produce better. How about you eat in the meantime? I
don't know, man. It's a different discussion because this is a person's faith that they're talking about. They probably hold this very highly they highly regard their faith. So their fasting comes first before any job.
Sure.
So it's like, for you to tell me to break my fast so that we can succeed at this job a little better it's not in my priority.
You might get fired.
Let it be.
You get fired.
Life.
You get fired.
As long as her relationship with Allah is strong, let everything else happen. That's how I look at it.
What if she don't have a job anymore?
Allah ya'lam, bro. Don't worry. Time will come.
Okay.
Time will come. That's how I look at it.
That's a real guy. That's a real guy right there. I can't convince these guys. That's a real guy.
I'm just saying, man.
The last thing about this is we don't know how familiar this girl is with the fasting and with anything else in regards to Islam. From her viewpoint, this is maybe the first time she's ever seen anybody fasting, and that's going through the trials and tribulations of the day.
Great point.
So she may be, I see someone in a medical crisis, I need to support them. Not, someone's fasting and they're trying to fight through the day. So she's trying to give her support in the best way she probably knows how. Because she said, this is a girl, we're school friends, we're cool, we're not that close. So she probably, who knows if she has any other Muslims that have examples. Because we can see somebody and we can put ourselves in their shoes. She may not have that experience to do so.
Right. 100%.
Yeah.
Not to mention, too, what if it was an hour away from iftar? She could have just been like, I'm thugging it out. Let me thug it out. I'm going to eat an hour anyways.
Yeah, right. So.
So it's like, it's the repetitiveness that bothered me. That the last thing I'll put on it is that it's the repetitiveness that bothered me in this scenario, because once I tell you once I even tell you 3 times, dead it. It's my body, it's my wishes. You don't have to be concerned for me any further than that. That's the only thing that I was upset with in this story. That's what made me lean towards that person being the asshole, but their intentions are good. And I understand that this person was fasting. They could have taken things out of context, into a different light. And it's just a unfortunate scenario. It could have been a learning lesson. It could have been an educational moment, but it is what it is 3 years later.
Fair enough. Who's the asshole?
I say the other, not this one, the other one's the asshole. Because the only reason I say that, not because I don't put anything on her for that day, but taking it further than that day.
So wait, which person are you talking about?
Not this girl that's writing, the one that was
the one that the Muslim girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't put nothing on that day from her, but to take it past that day and still take offense to that, that's the only reason I put her as the asshole.
Fair point. I would say the story writer is the asshole, but I'll leave it at that.
I agree with Mukhtar.
Okay. Can agree to disagree on this one? Tap in. We need to see your comments below. What do you think?